Instead of being basically this game, to be just case grad responsibility just in the future.
Yeah, you bet.
About your ascension through the offensive line for the years.
Say it again?
Your ascension on the offensive line for the years. Just talking about all the work and what that takes.
That's a good question. Our offensive line, I feel like this year, as well as all the other years, everything you do, whether it's in pass pro, whether it's in run blocking, it really comes down to just the basics and fundamentals of what you're doing. In pass pro, you gotta have good posture, you gotta set out there, you gotta get in front of the guy, you gotta put your hands on him before he puts them on you. And same thing in the run game. I mean, you gotta fit your pad, you gotta get vertical on those guys, you gotta really move the line of scrimmage and do your part to move the line of scrimmage. But on a week by week basis, it's honestly the same every week. The coaches come up with what they think is the best way to go forward. What plays in the run game, what plays in the pass game, what gadgets we have on for that week. Well, then it's up to us as players to go out there and execute that plan. And I feel like today, in the past few weeks, I feel like we've understood very thoroughly what it was that we were trying to get done against a certain defense. Hats off to Middle Tennessee State; they were a really good team, and every week presents a challenge mentally, a challenge physically. Somebody from a different conference sometimes can have a mentality of, oh, blah, 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 they're not the Big Ten or whatever. That's what people think, but in reality, you have to respect everybody. I mean, for me in high school, it was the same way. Like, I went out on a wrestling mat and, I didn't want to know who I wrestled because I'd start drawing conclusions. Oh, he's shorter than me. Like, oh, no, I'm going to beat him, I didn't want to know who I wrestled. But in this game, it's completely different. You have to know who you're playing. And for us, on a week-by-week basis, I think the offensive line and our team as a whole has really been mature in what the game plan has been. And we've really attacked it. And hats off to our coaches. They've been doing a great job.
What kind of progression have you seen from the offensive line, even since week one, from the game against Miami to Rutgers to Iowa State to now? What kind of improvements have you seen on the offensive line as a whole?
It's a crazy game. It's a lot of you face a lot of adversity through the years. Going into the year after 3.5 weeks of fall camp, I thought I was going to be playing guard most of the year. Heck, halfway through the first or second quarter, one of our left tackles go down. Boom, I get put out to right tackle, spot I haven't necessarily been focused on for 3.5 weeks, And it's been that way. And our right tackle moved to left tackle. We had a guy that hadn't played much football. He comes in at right guard. He goes down in the next 2 or 3 games. Somebody else steps in, and it's like that all year long. And it's about being mature. It's about really understanding that no matter when your number's called, you always got to be prepared. And we had our honorary captain. He talked about that too. Miguel Merrick, he talked about it. When first time he went in, he said, I wasn't really ready to go, He said, so that next week, he's like, I was hitting the film. He's like, I was looking at what I put on film and knowing where I was going to get beat. And so throughout the year so far, to answer your question, I just think a bunch of maturity has really shown through in my eyes. Not necessarily at just our offensive line position, but all across the board. I mean, there's guys stepping up that didn't think they were probably going to play this year, and it's been really special.
What's it like